Jennings obviously has played most of his career in the slot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's your
for
big
good reason.
slot.
He needs that gap. He needs that gap because he just can't break off the line.
And he's your blocker. He's your crackback blocker too. But I mean, so he's your big slot. But then you got Cowing, and he can play the slot.
He's your little slot.
And then you've got Pearsall and Robinson, and I think Pearsall and Robinson would probably be the starters. I mean, based on what I've seen. Now, obviously, we haven't seen Pearsall, but
we might not see Robinson.
Expecting Pearsall to get a little bit better, I would say the starters are Jennings, Pearsall, and Robinson, and the backups are Cowing and Watkins and Bergen. There's a couple things that I saw, though, this week that have impacted my thoughts on the wide receivers. Okay. One, Isaiah Neyor is absolutely monster, size, speed, freaky guy.
Yeah.
But
and then what?
Well, no, I was going to say he caught an out pattern yesterday up against, he body caught an out pattern. And I don't think I've seen a wide receiver even attempt to body catch an out pattern in like 5 years. It's been a long time.
He's an awful wide receiver. He's just not that right there just screams, I'm not ready. I mean, you don't catch the ball like that unless it's freshman football. You don't freshman football called he literally he dropped it, but he tried to corral it. He tried, in his arms up against his body. It was unbelievable.
I couldn't believe he even attempted it.
I have not seen that. It's so amateur.
Yeah,
it's amateur. A professional does not do that. Now, if you need your body because hey, it gets through your hands a little bit or something, but to let the ball come all the way to you, and then let it hit your chest plate, and then try to pin it to your chest plate
from an angle.
You're
talking about an angle pass. You're talking about a pass from the middle of the field to the sideline.
The only time that's acceptable is if you're in the middle of the field and the quarterback has stupidly thrown a football between 9 men, and somehow, without you really knowing it, it's hit you because you couldn't see the football. That's the only time it's acceptable as a wide receiver to hit you in the chest. If it can hit you in the helmet, it can hit you in the chest.
It's got to surprise you. If you turn around and it surprised you, okay, fine. You catch it any way you need to catch it.
He was looking it all the way.
Yeah, I mean,
I was right there. I was right in front of him. And
it reminded me of freshman football, like freshman in high school football.
This is why he didn't get drafted, because every aspect of him is like, holy shit, this dude is a specimen. He went to Nebraska. He had Matt Rule as a head coach. You think about like Thornton from Tennessee, who is not a good receiver, but is fast as hell and tall. He went in the 4th round. I mean, they're just taking dudes on a whim once a day 3 starts, and this guy went undrafted. How bad of a receiver must you be? And you watch his tape at Nebraska, and you're like, oh, that bad. That's how bad you have to be, to the point where, I'm sorry, I forget the Patrick Mahomes lookalike quarterback that they have. Just stop throwing him the football like halfway through the year.
I mean, here's the thing on the wide receivers for the Niners, as far as I'm concerned. You need one more.
Yes.
You need one more. Because, I mean, Aiyuk is going to be out for much of the year, and you don't know what you're going to get when he comes back. And then you got Pearsall and Jennings, and both of them have had injuries this year. And then you have Robinson, who's going to miss 3 games. You got a rookie in Watkins. Rookie receivers historically do very little. And then you got Cowing, and I like Cowing a lot, but he is a second-year guy. He is relatively small. Yeah. You got Bergen, who I think I would say this. Based on what I've seen, either the 49ers are going to add another receiver, or it's going to come down to Junior Bergen, who the special teams coach really loves and wants badly.
Drafted him.
And Isaiah Hodgins. And I think ultimately, after you watch, the whole preseason and everything, I think Hodgins is going to get that job. I really do. Hodgins is bigger. He's stronger. He's a real receiver with real skills.
Yeah.
He's not fast at all, but doesn't matter. They got other guys who are fast. He could be a very, very valuable possession receiver. Isaiah Hodgins has done it before. I mean, I really do think it's going to come down to Bergen and Neyor and Hodgins and Knowles. Tariq Owens, no. Russell Gage, no.
No.
And I just think that Nair's really raw. Bergen's a return guy, and he, to me, unless he looks a whole lot better in the games than I've seen in practice, I would say no, just based on what I've seen. And then Knowles has got some nice ability. He's kind of like a poor man's Deebo in some ways. He can run some of those routes. But Hodgins,
wow, I would never have gone there.
Well, he's
That's
definitely that kind of a player. I mean, he's
lanky.
definitely but I mean, he's taller than Deebo, but I think this is a run after the catch guy. He was a great kickoff return guy at K-State. That's what he was. He's an awesome kick returner. So I think he's kind of a run after the catch guy, but I don't love him, and he doesn't run that fast, even 4.48. So I just think my prediction on the receivers is that they're going to have to add one.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe Davis is still out there.
Bergen or Hodgins or picking up somebody else. And I just think that looking around the league, there's more than a few teams that are going to wind up cutting receivers that are better than Bergen or Hodgins. Yeah. And so I think that I think that last receiver I think will come from outside.
They're going to be in a kind of a sticky situation too once Robinson comes back, because then you got to cut somebody, or maybe this all just takes care of itself with injuries and such.
Unless they go with one less early.
Yeah, and then now you're going to carry 6, I suppose, and then Aiyuk comes back. By then, I'd imagine that there'd be pretty obvious roster moves, but
that could be November. I mean, you're
just
talking about the beginning of the year.
Guys that are certain to make the roster at one position at the beginning, like not on the roster, that creates some trickiness down the line, but I guess a good problem to have if you felt better about Junior Bergen or whomever the 5th receiver was. The Bergen
I think Watkins is
strange.
Going to be good, but I think Bergen's going to fall on his face.
I just don't get it. I didn't get it in the moment. I didn't have, I deferred to the fact that it's a 7th round pick. Who gives a damn? And then 2, like I don't have enough tape on the kid to really make a determination. He has been unimpressive. By the way, I have
he caught a ball yesterday, but I mean it was like
I have
that's the first one I saw.
I have Hodgins down for 3 drops, and I'm not one of those guys who's charting all the time, but I've marked him down of the 4 different days. I have drops on 3 of them marked down, which inauspicious, though I did like some of his drill work. And he's done it before, which matters, but you ain't kidding about the not being fast. I mean, Gabe Davis,
he's big, he's just slow.
Yeah, not ideal.
But I mean,
you already have one of those guys.
It's interesting. I mean, the football's changed. I mean, once upon a time, the Niners had Dwight Clark and Mike Wilson. I mean, it was like, and neither of those guys were fast. But now it's like it's a speed game. But you have Cowing, you have Watkins. Heck, you got Neyor. If you put
Watkins and Cowing together, they'd be an elite receiver, because one of them could do everything short and the other one can do everything long, and they can't seem to do the opposite. Kind of a telltale. If one of those guys is on the field, you know what they're running, which not ideal for a wide receiver room to have guys who are basically tipping pitches.
The one part about the Niners that has surprised me, if you said, give me something about them that really is surprising to you. I thought when they traded for McCaffrey that they would use him in kind of an eclectic use, where it's like he's a running back, he's flexed out, now we're passing it to him. They don't use him very creatively at all.
They did that in 23. They for sure did that in 23.
But they didn't do it this year. They didn't do it last year. And I got to think that if Jordan James or Kiner or Garendo or any of the backs behind CMC play well, don't you think it makes a lot of sense, instead of going Luke Farrell, to just flex out CMC?
Yeah, it does. I would rather flex out Garendo. I mean, I think that
Garendo,
that would be more fun. I want to move Christian McCaffrey around the formation to catch teams in the wrong personnel grouping and to put linebackers or safeties in conflict.
I'm just talking about lessening the hits on him by don't make him be the running back by just flexing him out. Let him play receiver.
Yeah, but in Kyle Shanahan's offense, a lot of that ends up with being short passes for yards after the catch over the middle, in which case you're taking hits anyway. I mean, I guess it's lesser, but it's not to say that Deebo Samuel was taking plenty of hits too. As a wide receiver, it really just depends on what it is you can do. I don't see Christian McCaffrey as an Achane kind of player, but I can see who by the way, the Dolphins, if you don't already know, they just straight up used him as a wide receiver on a lot of sets and had Raheem Mostert in the backfield, or the other kid, I forget the name of the other running back that they had that they liked and ended up supplanting Mostert. Yes,
right.
Thank you. Yeah. But they had Achane on the field a lot, and they used him as a strict wide receiver a lot, not the flex out or anything. I think Garendo could maybe, because he has a lot of similarities to Achane, a lot bigger, but straight line speed and all that. I think that would be a really fun thing to do, and I can't imagine that Kyle Shanahan didn't notice that during his off season, because I'm sure he spent some time with Mike McDaniel film, if not with Mike McDaniel himself. And I'm sure that was a topic of conversation or something that he noted watching the Dolphins last year, how they used Achane. And it will be interesting to see, because I would imagine that this is something, given the dearth of talent, or just the question marks would be the nicer way to put it, at wide receiver. And you can only ask so much of Kittle. You're not going to go Kittle full X receiver or anything like that. Where is it CMC or Garendo that they try to do in that role, if they indeed try to do it? I think it could open up some really fun possibilities. And again, to summarize all of this, like, I do think that the Niners are going to be a more spread out offense. I think that they're going to be a more pass first offense this year. I think they're going to be doing a lot more drop back as opposed to the sort of classic Kubiak play action. And they did that last year, but it was really hard to notice because they were so constantly losing that it felt like that was one, necessitated the other. I think they're going to do it on by choice this season. And I'm fascinated to see what that looks like. All things considered, and if it changes the perception around Kyle Shanahan's offense, in particular around Brock Purdy, because they're going to zag while everyone else is picking up all the things that the Niners had done for the last 4 or 5 years. They're going to go in an opposite direction because defenses have keyed in on that. So they're going to go maybe back to what defenses used to be keyed in on and attack them that way. All part of the fun game, but you need the talent to be able to execute that, and you really just need to put your best players on the field. I think that includes both CMC and Garendo, as opposed to maybe a Cowing or certainly a Watkins or a Bergen